Lily and Liam tied the knot in their youth, back when they were hitting the books at the university. Lily, a top-notch student, always had her eyes on the prize and a knack for steering the ship. Maybe that's what drew Liam in, considering he often found himself grappling with challenges and drowning in a sea of problems. He started to buy into the idea that he was jinxed. Jobs slipped through his fingers like sand, and fortune never seemed to favor him. In contrast, his wife was the epitome of calculated moves. Sensing a dead end in one company, she swiftly set sail for greener pastures. Her assertiveness was inherited from her mother, and sometimes it sent shivers down Liam's spine. Then the dam burst with yet another job fiasco. Luck once again turned a blind eye to Liam. He got swindled out of his hard-earned cash. Liam had had enough of these gifts from fate. The recent setback, coupled with a string of other misfortunes, knocked him off his feet for a good couple of weeks. He was disheartened and decided to hit pause on the relentless chase for a conventional job. On the flip side, Lily was thriving in her new role. She never held her husband accountable for his job hiccups, instead choosing to look the other way. But her outlook on the unfolding events was starkly different. She simply brushed aside her husband's input on certain matters. If there was something to be purchased, she didn't bother consulting him or seeking his advice. She insisted she had earned it and could afford it. At times, it felt to Liam like they were leading separate lives, and his wife didn't seem bothered by it one bit. Jobless and disheartened, Liam made a decision one day to catch up with his longtime friend Ethan, Sasha. They had been buddies since their school days, and Sasha always had a way of lifting his spirits. Liam truly valued that aspect of their friendship. That evening, Liam poured out his worries about his marriage to Ethan. He couldn't shake off the feeling that his wife was forging ahead while disregarding his worth entirely. To make her recognize your worth, you've got to take control. Just wait till she's expecting and on maternity leave. You'll have to step up as the provider. Watch how she'll change her tune then, and you'll be calling the shots, his friend remarked, raising his glass in a toast. This struck a chord with Liam. Indeed, none of his pals whose wives had recently given birth lamented about being sidelined. Besides, Lily was undeniably a devoted mother, and the idea of having a child did hold merit. They had been married for quite some time. It was about time they considered starting a family. He had hesitated to broach the subject earlier, unsure if he could handle the responsibility of being the sole breadwinner. But now, he resolved firmly that he was up to the challenge. He just needed to seize control of the situation. That very evening, he resolved to broach the topic with his wife, but she countered that her career was flourishing at its peak currently, and children could wait. Liam was very annoyed by her attitude. It seemed as if she thought he was a naive young man. He decided that if Lily continued to behave this way, he would resort to trickery. Lily always carried in her purse a small case with a variety of pills prescribed by her doctor. Among them were necessary vitamins, which she consumed during the day, but most importantly, hormonal pills that prevented conception. One night, while his wife was sound asleep, Liam replaced these pills with regular vitamins. He was immensely pleased with his ingenuity. Week after week, he continued this substitution. Now all he had to do was wait. In the meantime, he actively attended job interviews, preparing to take on the role of sole breadwinner. Eventually, he found a job on favorable terms. He was particularly happy to be officially employed, as he wanted to avoid repeating past mistakes. His situation gradually stabilized, and he finally felt confident about the future. However, strange things began to happen to Lily. He had gotten used to her habit of coming home late from work and taking on a little more than necessary. But usually she came home in a cheerful mood. Now her mood was like a roller coaster. One moment she could be cheerful, and 5 minutes later she could be furious. Moreover, she showed a complete disinterest in intimacy with her husband, which worried him very much. At this rate, it seemed unlikely that they would have a baby anytime soon. One evening, returning from work, Her husband noticed an unfamiliar luxury car parked in front of their driveway. Behind the wheel sat a respectable man of about 45 years old, engrossed in a telephone conversation. Lingering his gaze on Liam, he scrutinized him carefully before Liam went to the door. Upon entering the apartment, Liam was at first puzzled by the scene before him. Bags were strewn everywhere. Near the entrance to the bedroom, he noticed a familiar object, a large red suitcase, which they often used for long trips abroad. Thinking at first that Lily was doing a lot of cleaning, Liam was even more confused when he heard her voice of bewilderment coming from the kitchen. Walking over, she gestured for him to sit across from her. With surprising calmness, she said, "Why did you switch my medicine? Were you trying to get me pregnant?" Liam was caught off guard by her bluntness and was silent for a few heartbeats before answering. "I told you before, it's time for us to think about starting a family instead of focusing only on your career," he muttered to himself. "Well, congratulations. Your wish has come true, but the child is not yours. I refuse to raise a child with a spineless husband like you," she replied icily. "I'm going to another city. My things are already packed. You can stay here for now, but we'll share the apartment." As Lily rose from the table, about to leave, Liam grabbed her arm and hissed, "This is your former boss. So you've been lying to me all this time." His wife released his hand and calmly headed for the exit. Liam couldn't tear himself away from the unfolding events. Despite the fact that Lily had left her previous job, she decided to take a lover with her, a man much wealthier and more successful than Liam. Her desire to climb the social ladder apparently precipitated her decision to settle for Owen. While Liam was nursing the urge to direct his irritation at Lily, the man in the expensive car intervened, realizing what an angry husband could lead to. With an effort, Liam restrained himself and said goodbye, showering them with curses. The couple finalized their divorce, dividing their shared apartment between them. Liam had a decent amount of money, on which he bought a more modest dwelling. Lily found comfort and security in the arms of her new husband, Owen, eventually marrying him and giving birth to a son. Meanwhile, Liam cherished his anger at the situation, especially directed inward. He resolved to find a partner who would value him for his inner qualities rather than his material success, realizing that only by finding someone who was his equal could he find peace, free from constant worry and jealousy. And so he went in search of a kind, compassionate woman who could appreciate him for who he was.